I do? They were right, I mutilated myself. Gender-affirming surgery seems to be a very controversial topic at the moment, especially from people who it doesn't concern. I got my surgery in 2017 after being on a 2.5-year wait list. In that time, I had to jump through several hoops, including getting 2 separate therapy letters from 2 separate therapists determining whether or not I qualified for the surgery. My mother and I go up to San Francisco. I get my surgery done by Dr. Bowers. She is the best. I find out I have to do the bowel cleanse. I have to drink a gallon of the most disgusting stuff that literally makes you your brains out until you're pooping nothing but clear liquid. When you have to poop that first time after your surgery, you are grateful that you did the bowel cleanse. Next morning, it's about 5 a.m. I go to the surgery center, and I remember not being scared at all. I was very excited, actually, to be honest. I was finally gonna get to be me. I mean, I was ecstatic. The surgery itself did not take very long. It's about 3.5 hours, and when I woke up, I was not in excruciating pain. There was a lot of pressure down there, but I wasn't in a lot of pain.
Plastic Martyr is educating people about gender-affirming surgery.
I remember my mom holding my hand and asking me how I was doing, how I felt. And I said, I finally feel like me. And she started crying, the nurses started crying. It was a beautiful moment that I will always remember. And it was a beautiful feeling that I'll always remember, coming out of anesthesia and just knowing that I'm finally in the right body. The next week I was in the hospital on a lot of pain meds because the pain was bad. Of all my surgeries, it was the most difficult. I had my top done, I had bottom surgery, and recently I had facial feminization surgery. And of all of those, the bottom surgery was definitely the most excruciating. I had a catheter in for about a week and packing inside the new canal. After a week, I went to Dr. Bowers again and they removed the packing and the catheter. The packing being removed was not painful at all. The catheter, holy that was one of the worst experiences of my life. After that, they taught me how to dilate. That was the first time I dilated. It was about a week after my surgery, and I was so scared. I did not want to put anything up in there. Everything was swollen. I was so scared. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It wasn't wonderful, but it wasn't as bad as I thought.
The procedure went well, but left her tired and in pain.
After that, I really wanted to get home, so Dr. Bowers gave me the clear to leave San Francisco and go back to LA. So we went home. I sat on a hemorrhoid pillow the entire way and smoked because I was in so much pain. Once I was home, the recovery began. And that was one of the longest recoveries ever. It took about 3 months for me to be fully healed and recovered. It was really painful. I remember when the nerves kept firing up, it felt like an electric shock down there. It was so painful. I would just scream out in pain. People often ask me too, do I have any regrets? No. There was a brief moment after my surgery where I was in the hospital and a nurse came in and she was changing the dressings and she was like, wow, it looks so beautiful. Do you want to see? And I was like, yeah, I want to see. So I handed her my phone. She took a picture of it and gave it to me and I looked at it and I started crying. I'm like, what did I do? They were right. I mutilated myself. And I'm like sobbing and I was like coming unhinged. But it was like 2 days after I had the surgery done. So obviously I'm swollen and bruised and it was hideous looking.
She finally had her moment of self-realization.
Cut to about 2 weeks later, I'm getting out of the shower and I catch my reflection in the mirror. And if you don't remember, when I bought my first house, I took out all of the mirrors in my house. I didn't want to see myself. There was one mirror in my bathroom, which was like a vanity mirror, right? The way I'm getting out of my shower, I managed to catch myself and it was full body. And I saw myself for the first time, fully, and I started crying again, but happy tears, because I finally saw what I saw in my head. It was just real. It was real. Like I was finally real. And it was such a beautiful moment. It was at that moment that I was like, hey, I made the right choice. Things only got better too the more I healed. It got more beautiful. It hurt less. It started to feel more real. So I have no regrets. I would do it a million times over again, pain and all. This was truly a gift, and I am so grateful for surgeons like Dr. Bowers who give people like me a second chance at life.
People were curious about how things look after feminizing bottom surgery.
I've always wondered what a trans woman's kitty looks like. No, I am not offended by this question. Thank you for asking. I appreciate the curiosity, and I understand why you would be curious. There's a lot of misinformation going around right now about post-op trans women's bodies, so I would love to clear up some of the myths and rumors. Starting off with the aesthetic of it, it's beautiful. You wouldn't be able to tell that I was not born with it. There are no scars, really. I mean, there are, but they're hidden in the crease between the leg and the area. So starting from the top to the bottom, the blit and the literal hood, phenomenal. They have sensation. It's beautifully designed. It looks stunning. Moving down, the was shortened and moved, and that works fine. The is beautiful, pink moist. It's, you know, it's gorgeous. Moving down to both sets of these, they are great. They are fantastic. They have sensation. They are beautiful. Moving down to the canal, it's, you know, looks absolutely normal from the outside. Inside, it is smooth and beautiful and nice. And the doctors even gave me a special spot, so thank you. Which means that I can actually achieve the big O from both internally and up top. It looks stunning, it functions amazingly. I have no regrets whatsoever. This narrative that it's related, that it's this smelling, disgusting, decaying, rotting thing, this is all something from their fantasy, because that is not true.
It is so important that people are educated on subjects like this, and we are so glad that Plastic Martyr was able to share her story. In the comments, people were mostly supportive, with one person saying, "Thank you for sharing your story, and even if you did regret it, it's your decision either way, and you should be allowed to make it." While another said, "You are beautiful. As a mum, big hug to your mum for supporting her daughter." As always, thank you for watching Happiest. If you liked this video, then please be sure to follow our other social pages for more content like this. And of course, if you have any of your own videos that you'd like to share with us, be sure to send them in.